Good morning. Today is May 5th, 2014, and this is Before the First Cup with Zori and Lady Pitbull. Good morning.
Hey, how are you?
I overslept. I feel terrible. I'm getting there. And
There you
Jules may join us this morning, she said.
Yay!
Yeah. Oh. It
That's
got
awesome.
cool. It cooled off here last night. It's been like in the 90s and the 80s and then warm at night. Well, last night the weather really dropped down, and when it gets cold, I get snuggly and I don't want to get up.
Oh, that's for sure. Dude, I was doing that this morning. I'm like, I don't want to get out of this bed right now. You know what I mean? It's just like, no, because like right now it's 47 here.
It's 70 here. No, it's 50 here. So we're close to you, the same temperature you are.
Yeah. Yep,
Yeah.
and that's pretty darn chilly, really. I mean, it seems like when it's in the throes of the deep, dark winter, seems like it's, even if it's like below zero, it's not as cold out as it is in the springtime after it's been warmed up for a few days.
Yeah, well, 'cause all day long you're all warm, like we're in the 90s, and then all of a sudden the temperature drops to way down where you want to get into your covers and stuff. And 50 feels a lot colder. Yeah, than it does in the winter. In the winter you think 50's warm.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, wow, 0 to 50. Hey, I'll take 50. But I don't know. It's crazy, man. That's just the way it goes, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
So, I heard you have made a couple of decisions about going over to the Bundy Ranch.
Yep, my roommate's going with me. I reserved the rent-a-car yesterday, and I mean, there's so much propaganda going on. I want to go see for myself, and I, me, I really believe in this. I think this is something that is of utmost importance to our movement. This, putting a stop to the government's overreach.
Yeah, well, I agree. So, and this is a good thing because there's a lot of rumors and purposeful disinfo traveling around about this whole thing.
And what was it? Friday, the Bundys went in and filed formal complaints against their sheriff and their police department for not going out there and not, and then also against the BLM. And everywhere I see, I don't care who it is they're talking, what representative, what. Well, we can't have citizens pointing guns at law enforcement and this and that. And the whole time I'm thinking, excuse me, why is it okay for the BLM to go out there and point guns in people's faces, and it's not okay for the citizens to point their guns when, in defense?
Yeah. Definitely bring like video or.
Oh, we are.
Because
I'll be calling in too.
Okay. Cause if there's something that happens, I think what I have a feeling is that, you should definitely check the hotels around there. Don't forget about that.
I'll do that before I even go out there.
Yeah, and just be like, oh, I just want a room, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Or I'll just go in and, ask, I would like to know your rates for a room.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, you're from out of town, so.
Right. Yeah, and another thing, there's this, one of the Georgia GOP Senate candidate is traveling to the Bundy Ranch in support of Bundy. I just read that this morning.
Is he a Senate candidate, or is he a senator?
Senate candidate.
Oh, okay, so he's not a sitting senator.
No, but he's very popular back there. His name is, let me see, Senator Saxby Chambliss. Wow. Yeah. I know, and it's early and my eyes are still blurry.
Oh.
But he goes, one contender, however, is now thousands of miles away, sacrificing one of the precious few weekends that remain to pay tribute to a protest on the other side of the country. And this was 23 hours ago. Senate candidate Derek Grayson, a network engineer and avid YouTube pundit slipped away Saturday evening to board a plane bound for Las Vegas amid a heated primary fight for the GOP's nomination. Accompanied by his campaign manager and director of operations, Grayson then drove from Sin City to rural Clark County, Nevada, where a highly publicized legal showdown continues to unfold between the rancher Cliven Bundy and the Bureau of Land Management. So that's good to get, that will put more light on it, maybe by the media unless they spin it again.
Oh, they always spin it. It's it's being spun every day. They keep implanting keywords as like little tiny seeds in people's minds. And there was that article that you sent me. It's a perfect illustration of that.
Oh, just and how about the new word? Did you catch the new word?
Yeah,
we're not terrorists anymore. We are separatists.
Separatists. So can I read this?
Yes, please.
Let me read this because that's really like a huge big deal in what these people are trying to do. And this article I'm about to read really, really illustrates that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Nevada congressman, this is a sitting congressman, not a YouTube pundit, as that last article called the other guy. Nevada congressman calls on state, local officials to rid his district of Bundy's, quote, armed separatists. Okay? And this is a black dude, but that doesn't make a difference. He's a Democrat. That's what means the most.
That doesn't matter either.
It does when you're trying to pound these keywords into the public's brain.
Yeah.
So you're, more
I'm
Democrat.
wondering now, is a separatist worse than a terrorist, or is a terrorist worse than a separatist?
Well, let's
put those words out there without.
Well, this is why the Democrats are going that route, and then the Republicans go the terrorist route or whatever. Or the domestic extremist.
Yeah.
That's the route the Republicans go. So let's read, I'm going to read this and then we'll talk about that. Okay. Responding to complaints from his constituents, the congressman representing the district where the Cliven Bundy Ranch is located has called upon state and federal officials to get rid of the militia members who have taken up residence on the ranch, calling them quote unquote armed separatists, according to Reno Gazette-Journal. Speaking to the Clark County Democratic Convention in Las Vegas on Saturday, Representative Stephen Horsford, Democrat, said he was appealing for help from officials after being approached by residents. Really? Approached by residents? Wanting to know about his plans to get rid of the militia members who have set up encampments in the Bunkerville area. And then he goes on to say, I'm calling on Governor Brian Sandoval, Senator Dean Heller, the Clark County Sheriff Doug Gillespie, and any other elected official in Nevada to do their part to get rid of these armed separatists, Horsford told the convention delegates. Interesting. Yeah, this is the way the Democrats are going, guys. I mean, he said that at the convention, right? So, okay, Bundy, who claims he doesn't recognize the U.S. federal government. Yeah, right. I think he said that he doesn't recognize the federal government on these grazing fees. I don't think he said that as an all-around thing, not to my knowledge. So that's another, so they're seeding. That was another little seed. Did you catch that?
Yeah, I
Bundy,
did.
who claims he doesn't recognize the U.S. federal government, has been grazing his cattle illegally on federal land for years. There's another seed term, claiming that he doesn't recognize the U.S. federal government. Okay, the Bureau of Land Management rounded up some of his cattle, creating a cause celebre for the anti-government militia movement, who arrived in droves anticipating a confrontation. There's some more key terms right there. They arrived in droves anticipating a confrontation. Now, that's not quite correct.
I know, it's not.
The more accurate statement that could be was they were anticipating a defensive posture.
Much better said.
That's it. If they were anticipating anything. I think most of these guys weren't anticipating a fight. That's why they're still there, to prevent another one from happening. So, okay. Since the BLM stood down from enforcing the law, fearing violence, militia members have lingered, reportedly, here we go guys, setting up armed checkpoints on public roads and separating into competing encampments. That's a laugh and a half. Now, if you guys didn't catch that seeding, I don't know what. You guys are kind of brain dead, man. I don't know. That was like totally slanted. Okay?
And this is by someone who hasn't even been out there.
Exactly. Screw this guy. Who the hell wrote the story? It comes from the Raw story by Tom Bogini. Bogini. Whatever the hell. You're an idiot, dude. Okay, according to Horsford, here we go. Alright, here's probably the most important paragraph of the entire article, guys. Please pay attention to this right here. According to Horsford, a 5th grade girl told him that Bundy has a, quote, sense of entitlement, unquote, and should pay the same grazing fees other ranchers who use public land pay, with another person telling him that Bundy is a, quote, unquote, welfare rancher living off taxpayer subsidies. Okay.
I don't know any 5th grader that talks like that.
Well, that's number one. That's number one. The big thing, though, is that this 5th grader is obviously parroting what somebody else has been saying, perhaps in her own house. You know what I mean? Because the welfare rancher thing is absolutely null and void of an argument. Sorry, little 5th grader, but Bundy has never, ever, ever taken a federal subsidy. He said his father didn't and his grandfather didn't. I remember seeing that on a video that I watched. They don't take subsidies of any kind, and they haven't for generations in his family. Never one government subsidy or a loan or anything else. So that 5th grader doesn't know what the hell she's talking about.
Well, and I like I said, I don't know any 5th grader that talks about taxpayer subsidies and you know, I think it just doesn't make sense. I mean, she's reading something or with, you know.
She's just parroting what somebody else, perhaps in her home, is like running around, getting all pissed off in their house, you know, slamming dishes around and going, that welfare rancher. Damn that welfare rancher!
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's ridiculous. It's just absolutely ridiculous. These people, they don't...
Well, you know what it shows me, too? They can't find any adults to say the things against them that they want.
Well, they're trying to say that, oh, look, even a 5th grader can see, you know what I mean? How stupid are you people? That's what the Democrats do. This is a Democratic-leaning article, so it's, and let me finish this last thing and then we'll keep talking about this. But that was the key, that was the key paragraph in that article right there. So we kind of had to stop and dissect it a little bit. Okay, let me finish this last one. Governor Sandoval recently stated that citizens have a right to feel safe in their homes. When asked if Sheriff Gillespie had plans to move the militia members out of the area, Sandoval replied no. And even if he had said that, I wouldn't share that with you because certainly that's not a conversation between the two of us. Okay, so the key terms here, guys, are armed separatists. This son of a bitch, this freaking Horsford dude, Stephen Horsford, he needs to freaking define his terms. I mean, what is Solvener? I love listening to the Solvener Effect here on UCY. on Saturday mornings at 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Walter says it's a philosophy show, guys, and he says unequivocally, define your terms. Define your terms, and when you go there, Zori, and start talking about that they're trying to label these guys as armed separatists, and this guy has no idea what a separatist is. He has no idea what a militia is. Mm-hmm. A militia is a purely defense force. And they're not saying that they want to separate from the United States. And a separatist means that you want to separate from the whole country, from, you go somewhere else and live. You know what I mean? That's what a separatist is.
Another thing, the militia, stands for, law. I mean, they are for the Constitution stuff. And I also can't believe they're up on the highway stopping cars and making people tell them where they're going.
Yeah, that's total bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and I'm not even there. Maybe I guess I shouldn't say that that's bullshit. What they probably are doing is that they probably have, and what they should be doing is that they probably have his driveway guarded.
Right.
They probably have a guy, if anybody had any brains, stationed around where the telephone, the Bundy's telephone wires plug into the main so that nobody can come and cut their lines. They should probably,
right.
You know what I mean? They should probably have wherever the sniper positions were that were previously held by the BLM, that's where they should be having guys too. I'm not telling anybody nothing. I'm just saying that if there's anything that's being blocked off as far as traffic-wise, it's probably to those little areas.
Right, and another thing is and I watched this one clip from one of the militia guys that are out there, and all they're doing is they're standing guard. They're up overwatching the house, making sure no one's going to come in.
No one's interfering with freaking traffic. I can guarantee it, and you'll be able to go see for yourself now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's kind of neat because when things are going to escalate, obviously, if he's at the freaking Democratic convention in Las Vegas, these are the talking points, because when they go to these conventions, and then you see that in in the main Democratic convention and the Republican convention, those are the platforms in which they release the talking points.
Right, and even though none of them have been out there, so where are they getting their information? For one thing, they're getting it from the media and all. And I watched a clip of their city hall or their town meeting, and one lady says, "I didn't feel safe until the militia got there. I was scared for my safety," and they were asking questions like, "Where was our sheriff? Where was our police department? They should have been out there de-escalating this and out protecting them. What do they pay them for?"
Right.
And it was standing room only, and everyone up there was saying, they felt deserted and calling on the sheriff, or any of the representatives in that state. Not one of them's out there serving them. And, and they're right, and it's just, it's crazy. People aren't even using common sense to me.
Yeah. This Stephen Horsford guy, I can guarantee you, will not be reelected. That's not going to happen.
And then he says too, my constituents, he goes, he's been getting calls from the neighbors and stuff complaining. He doesn't have any neighbors.
Well, that's another thing you could probably, that would be interesting. If you hook up with Vince, maybe you guys should go run around and just interview the immediate neighbors and say, "Hey, look, how do you feel about all this happening in your backyard?" You know what I mean?
Right.
And get there and record there, say, "Hey, can we, we're with a radio show or whatever."
But what I gather is they've already pressured and pushed 54 other ranchers off their land, and from what I've seen and gathered, they don't have any neighbors that, are close enough to where any of this would even affect them.
Well, that's what living out in the country is about.
Right.
But there are, they would be the next door neighbors even if they were a mile and a half away.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So it's still the next door neighbor. And I would imagine that there's probably support coming in from, local houses and stuff. I'm sure there's people just going, hey, look, that's not what's going on here, and you've got our support, blah, 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 blah. Because really, that's what the neighbors should be doing, is helping those guys out with food and toiletries.
Yeah, well, they had neighbors at the town meeting, and they were all up there, all standing behind Bundy because they had been pressured out of their lands.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah, and I haven't heard not one of the ranchers that were around him say anything against him. They all say that, he's a good man and they worked their land. And then when they talked to Bundy and, Bundy, it was nice. I can't remember who was interviewing him, but they were saying, oh, well, people are calling you, a welfare queen and this and that. And he goes, you know what I'm doing here? I am providing meat on your table, meat that isn't GMO'd, that's open range, and I'm providing a service to the people, and I don't receive any welfare. We work for what we have.
Right.
And the guy was like stuttering over his words, like he didn't know what to say.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. That's exactly what I said. He's never taken a government loan. He's never had a subsidy.
Mm-hmm.
So he's not bound to any of that. That's why they're so pissed off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then, well, I guess, we were, for a while there, it came up about, the Chinese and their things. Well, that fell through almost a year ago, I guess. They decided they wouldn't do it. So, but, how many things?
Well, that's probably what they're saying
up?
now.
Right. How many people can make things up? Just, I read the comments, to these articles.
I never ever read those comments.
I always do because I want to see, what these people are saying, and they are so easily pulled down any little old trail that people want to pull them down. And these people don't seem to understand that what's going on there at the Bundy Ranch, it affects every one of us, our freedom, our liberty, our right to own property, and stopping the overreach. But all they see is what the politicians and stuff are saying, that like the militia are out there fighting amongst each other, and they're doing all this stuff, and they're in camp, and people are upset because they're staying out there in tents and all. Use your common sense. It's just it irritates me. I can't wait to get out there. And it is heating up again because you keep hearing this, it's not over. And,
right.
And the fact that any politician says, we're going to go out there and tell Bundy to get rid of the militia. You don't tell anyone what they can do on their own property, who they can have there and who they can't.
Right. And it's very important to verify whether these rumors of the hotels are really filled up to the brim, because if it's
I want to
still
go see that.
Yeah, that's going to be key in knowing whether or not they're waiting them out. You know what I mean? Because it would be important to know that.
But the thing is, most of the, like they say, I've seen a video of this one guy that got in the garage, and there were, BLM vehicles in there, and quite a few, you can tell an undercover car, they have the government license plate, that tells you even if it's not marked.
Yeah.
And he got a video of these cars in there, and then he went into, the bar in the hotel and was listening to them talking.
That's the best place to go, dude.
Right. That's all the way in Vegas. And
smart guy.
My schedule, we're gonna go there and stay one night, and then we have to go on to Texas to see my friend who's dying. We're going to be there 2 days. Then we're going back to the Bundy Ranch and stay there for the other 4 days. So, I might be able to go through Vegas on my way back. I don't know. But to find out, cause where's the closest town other than Vegas to there?
It's
Do you know?
Mesquite. It's called Mesquite. Yeah, and there's got to
Okay.
be hotels there. I think there are
Yeah.
hotels in Mesquite, and so just check and see if you can have a real bed instead of having to sleep out in your tent. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? I mean, really, it could be darn well worth it. You might end up with a bed. So,
I don't want a bed. I want to stay out in my tent.
oh, there you
But
go.
anyway, yeah, I'm going to try my best to get. Now, in Vegas, where they had their cars parked, it was blocked off. And this guy somehow he went into the hotel and then back down and through to get in the part of the garage where those cars were.
Mm.
So, but yeah, I'll be calling you guys, and letting you guys know what's going on. We're taking our cameras and our laptops and iPads and all that and our cell phones so we can call if nothing else.
Oh, good.
So yeah, I gotta make a couple press passes for us. My roommate's she goes, you should have seen your face cause I said, I want to go there. We should go there. And she goes, let's go. She goes, your eyes just lit up.
It's good that you got someone else to go with instead of going by yourself.
Right. And I know about traveling and I went in and I got Nevada's laws on guns. I got New Mexico's laws on guns, and I have Texas's laws on guns, and I have them printed out, and they go with me. So wherever state I'm in, I will apply to their rules, and I will have proof that that is their rules. So,
it's good to go there armed with knowledge.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing.
Right. And Nevada has the same law as like California. When you are in your vehicle, it is an extension of your home. And you can have a loaded or unloaded, concealed or not concealed weapon in your car. Now, when you get out of your car, it's a different story. But, when I travel, I always keep it in view where they can see it easily, and I keep it unloaded and in the bullets, like where I have to reach for them and stuff. But that's just common sense, But yeah, and I'm hoping that things are okay there. I really am, because I think it's going to escalate pretty bad. Especially
if it does.
Yeah, like that one, the head of the BLM, I forget his name, but what he said was, he was going, they had guns pointed at our guys. And I'm sitting there thinking, what, were you guys weren't armed? You didn't have guns pointing at American citizens, but that's okay. You who shouldn't even have guns because you're not paramilitary. You're just an agency that, and they're going to collect a bill. There's wrong in so many places that.
Really, all they gotta do is, and no one's going to impede them from doing this, by the way. I saw that. If there's, and this has got to be made perfectly clear. If there is somebody, to serve something, serve a lien on the ranch or something like that, because that's got to be served, I believe. I could be wrong, but they're going to. Those people will be allowed unimpeded to go up and serve if they had some kind of subpoena is served or something like that. They're not going to interfere. Nobody's going to interfere. The militia isn't going to interfere with a subpoena being served or, something else, being served on the Bundys. So, they're not, there's so much disinfo out there, man.
Right. And most of it, I just listen to both sides, and a lot of it to me is common sense and knowing, what the militia stands for, and then knowing what like the BLM and these news reporters and stuff that are saying, you can see their spin on things all the time. And I don't know, the sons of Bundy's, they both gave interviews on clips when they went to file charges, against the BLM and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's good that it's all getting put down in writing. There was over 20 people that went in and filed. formal complaints against the BLM and the sheriff and their police department. And so, I mean, and then all the other side has is rhetoric, is propaganda. They don't, and then they're talking for the townspeople, but yet when you look at the townspeople meeting, none of what the media and stuff are saying is happening there.
Right. Well, that's why this guy, this congressman had to go to the Democratic convention to seed the keywords that everybody's supposed to use when referencing the Bundy Ranch from here on in. So that's the purpose of what that article was.
And the fact that he's calling on the sheriff and he's calling on,
right.
on the senator and all that. Well, you know what? Get out of here.
Well, okay, now people in the chat room are wondering why in the hell are you going there?
Because I believe in what's going there. I think this is one of the most important things that has happened, in my view, in a long time, of where the citizens, are standing up to the overreach of the government. We are tired of it. I think most people are tired of it, and I'm going there to stand next to them because we're always saying we have to stand united and we got to draw our line in this, in the sand. Well, where's everybody's line? Here's a chance to do what we preach to people every single day, to go there and stand with the people that are doing it. I can't see myself doing anything else if I'm able to go, and I'm able to go. We can sit and talk all day long. You can sit and talk all month long about being united and about standing up for the right things. Well, these people are standing up for the right thing. Where are we?
Right.
That's my reason. Anyway.
Well, I can't argue with that.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'll get there and I'll be wrong. But in my heart, I don't think I'm wrong. And if we don't stand up now, it's going to be a lot harder to stand up later. When they come for your house, when they come for your land, and you're calling out for help, how would you feel if no one came there to support you? And just because Bundy's a rancher, he's worked hard, his family works hard, and that's, to me, that's what America's all about, and we should be standing behind him. All this propaganda and stuff, I don't care about it. In fact, I really don't even care about Bundy that much. I'm there for the principle. And what we all should be only looking at, and that's stopping the government overreach. Get these agencies unarmed.
Yeah, that I agree with that. Absolutely. But it could escalate into the culmination of other alphabet soup agencies laying in wait. And I've had face-to-face confrontations with those guys.
It's not fun, I know.
It's fun. Look at Waco.
Well, I've had guns, pointed at me before, and I know the feeling, and it's not fun. It is not. It's very scary. But if you can't stand up for your principles, what are we doing here?
That's true.
I don't want to die, and I'm sure that the militia out there don't want to die.
No.
And yeah, the only thing I worry about really is a mole out there or someone who's going to lift something off.
Okay, now I'm going to tell you right now. It is crawling with them. Okay? I'm shitting you not. You got to have absolute discernment in who you talk to and divulge information of who
I'm
you
not
are.
going there to divulge anything. I'm going there to intake. But yeah.
You got to understand the hotbed of sizzling bullshit that you're going into right now. I mean, it is a bubbling, festering mess of bullshit and
that's the part that makes me nervous, is that somebody's gonna, shoot off a round and get this whole thing going. That's the main thing. Because I don't believe the militia's going to fire the first shot. I know, but if someone else is in there or lets off a firecracker, and you know how BLM and any cop, as soon as he hears a bang of any sort, he's shooting off his gun.
Yeah, so, I mean, just, all you gotta do is just Observe more than anything else. Interact with everybody. Go meet Bundy. Go talk to the guy.
That's what I want to do. I want to, and then come back and have clips and be able to tell everybody what's really going on. Because even all of us, we have Vince, which did a good job of telling us what was going on. And, stop listening to the propaganda. We know about how their machine works with the media and stuff. But, we need to know.
Are you meeting him down there?
I hope so. Vince, I got hold of him and he said he's working towards going down. So I'm hoping so. Cause I'll be completely lost when I get down there.
Well, maybe you should swing by and pick him up.
Maybe on the way back, yeah. Oh, but then how would he get back home? Well, yeah, I'm gonna try and get with him today cause we're leaving early in the morning. It's going to take us 12 hours to get there.
You should definitely touch base.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've been trying, but he's kind of hard to get a hold of lately.
Yeah, I bet. But, oh my goodness. Well, I just wish you all the protection in the world. So,
thank you, hon.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm sure we'll be fine.
Yeah, just smart and play your cards right and just.
And the government, I don't think can afford anymore. I mean, if you listen to Napolitano and what he's saying, that the ball's in our court, really, because the government, they've overstepped their reach, and most Americans see that. And so now they're gonna have to backpedal. If they go in their guns, pulled and stuff, it's really gonna look bad for them. Mm-hmm. They can say whatever they want, but usually when, like the video, okay, remember that one, person, I don't remember who it was, but he said, the militia said they're gonna put the women and children out in front of them so they get shot first. Now, who in their right mind would think that? And you could look at the videos, there weren't no women and children out front. You gotta use common sense. I wish I could get that through to people.
Hammy is in there and I'm reading the chat stuff. I probably shouldn't do this when I'm on air, but he has the best point, possible. He says there's not only moles there, but the whole damn thing is a federal honeypot. And he's right. That's exactly what it is. They are going to learn who's who, and they're taking names, and they're taking license plates, and they're taking...
Well, that's fine. I mean, I'm not hiding from nobody, or I wouldn't be doing this on the radio.
Right.
But, yeah, and I don't know. All the militia people I've ever met believe in the Constitution, and they're not criminals. They're what I call myself an outlaw, against laws that aren't right, but they're usually very level-headed, very well-trained, and, believe in the Constitution. And so therefore, I trust them way more than I trust anyone else, and aside from a few egos, I'm sure that get out there because ego always seems to play with stuff. But I don't know. I'm on the right side. I know that. So I don't know. I can't wait to get there and see. I'm so want to know the truth.
Yeah, well, that's what you're gonna find. So, there you go, man. That's what it is, I guess.
Okay.
Just be careful.
Speech from Vince telling me where I can go camp, so that's good. I hope I can, or I might just run up there.
Where the hell is he? Is he on the way anywhere?
No, he's back where he was staying in Arizona with friends, I think.
Arizona? I thought he was in Nevada with his sister.
No, he met his show the other night. This guy's giving him a trailer, and he's down there with the guy, and he met at Bundy's ranch, I think.
Oh, jeez.
That boy gets around, let me tell you.
He's a wandering minstrel. Minstrel? Yeah, minstrel. That's funny.
Yeah. Anyway, UCY will have the truth, and then we can put this other bullshit to rest.
Side, yeah.
But yeah, you know, them calling on the sheriffs and all that, and then it, you know, what would happen if the militia wasn't there? And they're calling for all, you know, to go get Bundy off of there, and they want to take it. They don't only want him to stop grazing; they want him off his land.
Well, that's one of the things that you can confirm when you get there.
Yeah.
Ask him. Ask. The only way to find out these particular questions is to ask Mr. Bundy himself.
Right. Or one of his sons, because his two sons are right there.
One of his sons, or his wife.
Have their own places on the ranch, too.
I'm sure you can talk to his wife if they ever go out there, you know. I'm sure they do. These are questions, and just write some questions down, you know. Like
I am. I've been working on that. Questions I want to know the answers to, and there's this thing his son was saying, you know, there's so many. Oh, and I read that now he owes $3 million. Was the last amount that now he owes. It jumped from 300,000 to 1 million to now 3 million.
So what they're doing, or what they think they're doing, is they're charging him for all of the time that's being spent and all of the expense that they are, all the guys to pay that's on the BLM, or they're
just grabbing numbers out of the air is what I think.
Well, I think that they're going to escalate the quote-unquote charges. So, they're probably going to say he's responsible for everybody's time and stuff too. So.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It's just, I can't wait to get out there and really find out, you know, what's really going on. Now, so far, I mean, from anything I've gathered from anywhere, they have, the BLM hasn't shown back up out there at all, as far as they know. At least not in uniform.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's impossible to sit here and speculate all that, you know, right. It really is. All that we know is there's a bunch of bullcrap floating around, and just you're walking in the hotbed of Fed activity, and just be real careful.
And they say there's more militia showing up because they know that there's gonna, you know, I mean, all the politicians are reading, all of them keep saying it's not over yet. You know, it's just I don't want another Waco. That's what scares me more than anything else. You know. Right. For another family to get burned on national TV by our government.
Yeah, Dan pretty much just nailed it just now. He says it has to all be a bullshit setup, because all the government has to do is put a lien on the property and wait on him to die. But yes, that's legally, that's all the government, that's it. That's all the government has to do is put a lien on the property. They don't have to go through all this bullshit.
Oh, right. And, you know, Judge Napolitano went over all of that. He goes, the government's going to be there, you know, and what they should have done is just put a lien on the property and the cattle. And when he dies, they would get their money. But no, and that's all they could really do legally. Now, this other judge that
and he's already lost. Bundy's already lost twice in court. So
right, okay, and he's right. But just because you lose in court, don't make you a guilty person, and we all know that. The judges are so corrupt that, you know, and they don't go by the law. So when you tell me somebody lost in court, that doesn't tell me anything.
Well, there you have it.
So, yeah. Vince said, I can't get into Chitango, but for some reason, but I hear you all about me through Tell Everyone Hi. Spell H-I-G-H.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Hi, Vince.
Everybody
What's up, dude?
Oh, yeah, he can hear us, yeah, so.
What up, Vince? What's up?
Oh, that guy cracks me up.
Oh, and Hammy, another awesome comment. Joseph Stalin said the best way to control the opposition is to lead it.
Yeah.
Absolutely, dude.
Yeah. So, I don't know. It's just, and I was talking to Montana Dave. I love Dave from Montana. He is so down to earth and so logical. I just always feel good after talking to him, and he wants to go down there real bad too, but he's just got a job now and working and doing good. So I said, no, I'll go for you.
There you go.
But he's just, he has so much insight. I just love the guy.
Who's this again? I'm sorry.
Dave from Montana.
Oh, I love Dave.
Mm-hmm.
Damn it.
Yeah, we've been talking a lot about this. I mean, I've talked to him ever since I met him, but here lately, and yeah, he just sees it so clearly,
Yeah, that guy definitely has his own perspective on life. I think that's awesome.
I know.
He's a pretty cool dude. I've seen his parachuting video. That's awesome. The dude, just a regular, well-rounded, grounded kind of guy.
Yeah. So, yeah, he goes, God, I want to go so bad. I'm so tempted. And I said, no, because it took him a while to find another job now, and he's doing good. So I said, nah, I'll just keep you informed. So,
yeah, good for you. He's got to work, man.
Mm-hmm. Yep, you got to pay your dues, even if you loan that's me. But no one owns land in this country. I mean, people go, don't you want to own your own home and all that? And I go, why? You don't own anything if they can come take it away from you.
Right.
Or then I'd have to take care of all the taxes and I have to take care of the repairs, where now I live in a place where I pay my rent to my landlady. I've lived, in her house for over 25 years. Wow. I pay my rent to her. Anything goes wrong, she takes care of it.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
So. Too, so.
So where do we go from there? Have you seen anything else that's been going on? I overslept and we're busy getting things ready to go and all that. So, and I had to go get the people that are going to stay here while I'm gone to take care of my animal. And
oh, good.
As soon as I get off here, we got our list going and all kinds of stuff. So I'm sorry, I haven't been.
That's all right.
Up on things.
Let's see, there is a lot of crap. Honestly, there's just,
How about the Ukraine? I haven't looked at that.
Okay, I got something from there. Let me find it. It's, and this is nice and short and sweet, so, and this isn't going to surprise anybody, anybody whatsoever, especially not these listeners here. So, the headline says, CIA, FBI agents, quote, advising Ukraine government, said the report. Alright, here we go. This came out yesterday. Berlin, dozens of specialists from the U.S. Central Intelligence Agency and Federal Bureau of Investigation are advising the Ukraine government, a German newspaper reported on Sunday. Citing unnamed German security sources, Bild am Sonntag said, Bild am Sonntag, that's what it is, said the CIA and FBI agents were helping Kyiv end the rebellion in the east of Ukraine and set up a functioning security structure. Here you guys go, right there. It said the agents were not directly involved. Bullshit. It said the agents were not directly involved in fighting with pro-Russian militants. Quote, their activity is limited to the capital, Kyiv, unquote, the paper said. Yeah, right. The FBI agents are also helping the Kyiv government fight or organize crime, it added. Oh, shit.
Okay, is everything upside down? I thought the FBI was supposed to handle things in the United States and the CIA was supposed to handle things with other governments.
Oh, but yeah, don't you know that after 9/11 they're joining forces?
Yeah.
Oh, it's just one big happy freaking...
And tell me what the FBI's been involved in that went off smoothly or was well done. Nothing.
Nothing. I'm gonna say it. I stopped myself, but I'm gonna say it. It's all one big happy butt pumping family. Alright. Here we go, guys. A group specialized in financial matters is to help trace the wealth of former Ukrainian President Viktor Yanukovych. I didn't say that right. According to the report. Oh, I see. So they're going to go in there and just tear up that guy's life.
Okay, anyone look at our situation in this country and tell me they know about economy.
Right.
I mean, oh, jeez.
All right. The interim Kyiv government took charge in late February after months of street protests, forced the ouster of Kremlin-friendly Yankovich. Yankovich, I think that's what it is. Fierce battles between Ukrainian soldiers and pro-Russian separatists. Here we go, guys. Pro-Russian separatists. We've got that word again. Keyword, separatists. Fierce battles between Ukrainian soldiers and pro-Russian separatists in the country's east have left more than 50 people dead in recent days. Last month, the White House confirmed the CIA Director John Brennan had visited Kyiv as part of a routine trip to Europe in a move condemned by Moscow. Okay, so here we go, guys. We've got that keyword, separatists. We also have them admitting that the FBI and the CIA were in there when the initial riots were happening, advising in advisory positions. So let me tell you something right now. All right, we've been in there staging this coup since the inception of it, and it's going to come and bite us in the ass.
Yeah, button heads with another superpower is not a smart thing to do in any situation.
Well, the thing is that, like I've said before, this has been on the books for a long time, this plan, and we are in there creating the problems. And guess what? They've got the solution too. All these bastards, it's a banker war. It's another.
Everywhere we go, death follows of innocent people.
Well, it's always CIA and FBI in there just, creating the problems, killing innocent people in droves. These are the criminals. Come on.
Yeah, and I read a thing where they're trying to force the Obama administration to divulge. You know how they say, well, we've killed this many insurgents, but they will not give the documents over that says how many innocent people they have killed.
Well,
and
I mean, not.
And like, what is an insurgent? Who can describe to me what an insurgent looks like?
They're describing it already. We've been hearing about it like this whole show. They're describing insurgents and terrorists and, separatists. You know what I'm saying? They are the ones who come up with these descriptions. They are the ones who come up with these categories to file all these people under and us under so that they have a reason to come and quell the problems. You know what I'm saying? They have to have a reason to come and stabilize the region. They have to have a reason to come, and so it's order out of chaos.
Yeah, and now I am positive, 100% positive that Obama was put in there for the race card. Everywhere you see, they're taking away a man's, he owns a team and they're banning him from sports because of racist comments, which I think he was set up by the girl myself personally. But race, everywhere. Almost in every article, the word race comes up.
Well, that's how they gain control of the public's mind. And we're back now where we started the show at. This is how they plant their little seeds that take root, and people just read like a couple of lines in a story or hear it on TV, and they go out into the ether and parrot all the bullshit.
Yeah.
And they're doing the same thing here. And there was another headline, it was pretty big.
Just hit the basics on
It
it.
says Odessa Jews are preparing for emergency evacuation. So there we go. Now, just like you said, here we are bringing in that freaking race card again because they are saying that these pro-Russian separatists are Nazis and they're coming after the Jews, which is a bunch of fucking Jew bullshit.
And the ones that are yelling the loudest about racism to me are the racists.
Exactly. Bingo. It's the SPLC. It's the freaking ADL. It's the fucking, it's the UN, right? I mean, it's all this European Union. It's all the control. The bankers are the ones that yell that kind of crap, all throughout the world. And,
right.
This is, if people don't understand, but, sorry, what we're talking about right now, they would say that this is wholly racist. Those are racist views. Those are racist views. So, here we go. I mean, they can label us, and they have labeled us, and,
I think if we took the word racist out of all this, it would make a lot more sense to more people. But, and like I said, it's usually the racist that complains about racist.
Yeah. Pretty much, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. So, that's the real separatists.
And why people can't see that they're being used by that one word.
Hey, you know what? I'm going to, let's see. Go ahead, keep going.
Oh, yeah, I mean, and what gets me is how long we've been here, 250 years, and we still can't get along. There's something wrong with the human species. I don't know. You would think by now we would be tired of killing people. And my heart goes out to all these people in the Middle East that are being manipulated and used by these governments, by our government, by their government, when most of them, I believe, are just like you and me. All they want to do is work and provide for their family and live their lives. I think most of the people of the world, other than if you're not in government, I think that's what you want. I don't know. Just think any one of us could have been born over there instead of born here. And from every interview I've ever seen them do with the citizens of any country we've gone into, they're just like us. When their children get blown apart, they hurt just like we do. And when you have done nothing to do it, I fear it. I don't want it to happen, but I have a feeling that if they keep this up, we in this country are going to know what those people went through, because we are messing with people that can bring a lot of harm to us right here in this country. We could be bombed, and we could be losing people we love, and for what?
Right.
I don't get it. It really hurts my heart to think, and we, you hear people over here spouting, oh yeah, we need to go get them, we need to kill these, we need to do this and all that, but they're not out there in the front lines. They're not out there risking their lives. They're sitting in their nice cozy home talking about, yeah, well, we had a right to go to war there and we had a right to do this. Well, why don't you go over there and join them? Why don't you go over there and be a part of this? Why do you think our guys are coming back so messed up? Because they're being made to do things that go completely against what they are. It's wrong. And then what do? We have them go over there, kill innocent people, come back here all screwed up, and then we just turn our backs on them and make them live out on the streets.
Right.
We're such hypocrites here. Oh, what we do. And then why anyone would want to join the military is beyond me. You come back, you don't have a home. You come back, you don't have no free speech. You come back, you don't have any rights at all. And they keep pounding it in. Well, our boys are over there defending our rights here. Bullshit.
Right.
Sorry.
No, that's all right.
So angry, and I don't want to be angry.
Well, if you're not angry, you're not paying attention.
Yeah.
That's
well, people,
line.
We gotta stop this somehow. We can't just sit around and talk about it anymore. It's getting to the point where if you don't stand up, you're going to be a slave to the system.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know. I'm tired. I'm already tired. It's just, I don't like these feelings. I like feeling good inside, and I like feeling happy, and I try my best. But when I see all this, and when I really sit down and think about it, most people don't just sit and really think about what's going on. They're busy reading or talking to people about it, but they don't sit down and really think of the reality or put themselves in the other people's place, the innocence place.
Right. I agree with that. And people need to start doing that pretty quick because it's coming. I mean, the walls are closing in. That's worldwide. I mean,
well, yeah,
pulling
except
the
for
trigger.
here. Our boys get killed over there, but not nearly as many as we're over there killing. And for what? For what? Are we bringing peace anywhere in the world? I mean, this domination thing. And I don't know, Russo, I loved Russo. I mean, he seen through it and gave us so much. We should listen to his words. Go back and watch his videos.
Aaron Russo?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, he knowing, the Rockefellers and stuff and listening to them and stuff, he couldn't be a part of it because, and he tried to get it out to us what and how we're being manipulated. And now he's dead. So.
Yeah, they, somebody walked by him with, a hot rad, gave him cancer.
Yeah. And, it's just like Russo said, first we're going to take this country, then that country, then this country. And, he told us things that were going to happen before they happened, and then they did happen. But did anyone remember his saying that about, the Rockefellers' plan and stuff? And I'm seeing it more and more come true. Like I was watching that article, or reading that article where, it's just like cell phones. I was one that said I'd never have one, and now almost no one can live without them. Well, the chip's coming, people, and if you don't have the chip, you won't be able to do anything.
Yep, that's where it's going.
Yeah, and it's going to be just like the smart meters. It's going to ease its way in like the boiling frog, and it's already easing in and all these aspects of our lives. Think of anything in your life you can do without this affecting you in some way. And the smart meter, the chip, slavery's coming.
That's right. Actually, it's here. Actually, it's here.
Well, yeah, it is, but I mean, it's
actually
gonna get
here. Hang on, there is a, that's a good one. Let me find that.
I mean, the point's gonna come when people aren't even gonna have the illusion of freedom.
Right. There was this article, I think I can get rid of that. Here we go. Here, if this doesn't tell you that you're already a slave, this is an interesting article here. It says, federal court. Police can stop and search you for behaving innocently.
Yeah.
A federal appeals court just ruled that the police have a legal right to stop and search and arrest you for innocent behavior, including driving with your hands at 10 and 2 position on the steering wheel at 7:45 p.m., taking a scenic route, and having acne. To the 10th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals, these factors added up to fit the profile of a person smuggling undocumented immigrants and drugs. The court said, quote, although the factors in isolation may be consistent with innocent travel, taken together, they may amount to reasonable suspicion, unquote. In other words, the police can now stop you for no reason at all. Law enforcement just needs to add a sinister context to your behavior and off you go to jail. The court endorsed this expansion of aggressive police behavior in USA versus Cindy Lee Westhoven, number 13-2065. Not what the founders had in mind, of course. This is not the result of what the founders of our country had in mind when they added the Fourth Amendment to the Constitution. It forbids unreasonable searches and seizures and requires the police to have quote unquote reasonable suspicion. And they keep trying to twist those words, and you can't twist those words.
Right.
Those words were not meant to be twisted. Okay, that there is a crime. All right, let me read that again. It forbids unreasonable searches and seizures and requires the police to have quote unquote reasonable suspicion that there is a crime underway based on facts that they can articulate. In
right.
this case,
now, how do you say, oh, well, I knew she was up to something, that there was a reason because she was driving down the road, sitting up straight, and she had pimples.
Right. It says, in this case, Cindy Westhoven of Tucson, Arizona, argued unsuccessfully that a border patrol cop had no right to stop her and no reasonable suspicion to extend the stop once it was clear she wasn't smuggling Mexicans. Well, there's the 100-mile border, on the Constitution Free Zone. This case struck me because I live in Tucson and I myself have been stopped by Border Patrol for no good reason. In my case, my wife was driving me to the Tucson airport to catch 6 a.m. flight for a business trip. I was wearing business attire. The contents of our 2011 Subaru Forester were easily viewable from the outside, and we obeyed all traffic laws. A border cop pulled us over and interrogated us about where we came from, why we were out, and where we were going. Neither one of us had ever been arrested for anything, and we were doing nothing wrong. The cop was clearly fishing for a reason to hold us, but finally gave up, and I did catch my plane. Well, there we go. Now, if that doesn't say that we are already in a police state prison, then welcome to the plantation, people.
Well,
all right.
Okay, here's another case, and this is happening all over the place, and people should take heed to this. In Nevada again. After a successful run at the casinos in Las Vegas, a man carrying a large sum of cash fell victim to a thieving police officer on his way back to California. Without charging him with a crime or even giving him a speeding ticket, the cop seized $50,000 and let him go. This practice is highway robbery. It is perfectly legal. Tan Nijgen was the lucky gambler who was stopped along I-80 in Humboldt County. Nijgen was stopped by Deputy Lee Dove for only going 3 miles over the posted speed limit. To establish the grounds for searching Nijgen's vehicle, the deputy began to claim that he smelled drugs. Okay. He goes, I just smelled weed. I know I did. I know I smelled weed, said Dove in the dash cam video available. Yeah, and there's a video to it too. And it says, Deputy Dove is a skilled narcotics agent that knows that accusing someone of drug trafficking is all that is required to walk away with their money and property. The policy that enables him to do this is known as civil asset forfeiture. How much money you got? Asked the deputy. No drugs were found in the subsequent search, but that was no problem for the deputy. He had discovered Nijgen's money, $50,000 in cash and $10,000 in cashier's check. That's not yours, is it? Deputy asked. That's mine, Nijgen responded. Well, I'm seizing it, the deputy declared. Nijgen protested that the officer had no right to rob him, but Deputy Dove reminded him that the government theft is legal in the police state. Every day I do this, said the deputy. It's all I do for a living. It's drug interdiction and I get money. The only reason why you may have that cash is because it's related to some sort of illegal activity, said the deputy. You know it and I know it. He goes on, with everybody, that's what I do because they don't want the problem or the headaches, So they just abandon the money. They take what they've got in their wallet or in the case of cashier's checks and they bolt. According to a subsequent lawsuit, Dove told Nigel that he would be arrested unless he got in his car and drove off and forgot this ever happened. I don't have all day to sit here debating it, Dove impatiently slanted. He took the money and let the driver go. Motorists like Nigel are essentially accused of criminal activities without actually being charged with a crime. They are then forced to prove their innocence or, in many cases, abandon the money. The expenses of legal fees make it cost prohibitive to fight back, and government agencies are well-oiled machines when it comes to theft. Nigel spent his remaining $10,000 in cashier's check to pay an attorney to file a lawsuit in Humboldt County. Ultimately, he got his cash returned. But Deputy Dove has not been fired as underlying tactic he routinely uses is exactly what is expected from enforcement of the drug war. The Fifth Amendment states, no person shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process, nor shall private property be taken for public use without just compensation. The concept of seizing money without criminal charges needs to be abolished immediately in the spirit of the Constitution and in the interest of preserving liberty. No one's cash or property is safe as long as this remains a standard practice. Now, in the video, it shows this cop with a piece of paper that he forced the guy to sign stating that he gave that money up willingly. And this is being done with people that are traveling with 500, 600, like I'm going to be traveling with cash. They can take my money if they pull me over. And this guy was never cited, didn't get a ticket, and he was told to forget about it. Luckily, he had the $10,000 in cashier's check to fight it. So, you know, this has got to stop. And the cop's words, and you can see it in the video, he does this every single day.
Yep. Every single day. That's what he said.
Yeah, and he doesn't get fired, and the police department say, hey, good for you. You were abiding by the law and stuff. He had no reason to believe this guy was a criminal. And it's appalling. And everyone who's traveling on the highways with any money at all, if you're going to buy a car or you're on vacation, just remember in the back of your head, you better hide that money damn well because if you get pulled over, they're going to take it from you.
Well, even if you hide the money and they find it, if like they do an illegal search and seizure, like we were just talking about, we are already in a prison, guys. JJ says it a lot. You know, he's like, we're just in an extended prison right now. And that's true. It's just a bigger, larger, what does he say? Play yard or whatever the hell.
Yeah, playground. Yeah.
Not even a playground. It's like
field. Yeah, a playing field. And it's true, you know, I mean, what's your defense here? If that guy didn't have the $10,000 to hire a good attorney, he would never have seen that $50,000 again. And he did nothing wrong but drive down the highway.
I think, did Jules join us? I think.
Are you there, Jules?
I think I brought her in. Let's see. Oh, call failed. Dang it. There, I'm trying to call her again.
Yeah, so, you know, it's crazy. And, you know, where does that money go? It goes to provide them with more means to do more of this to us.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Hang on. I'm trying to pull Jules in. Go ahead and keep talking.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Where do you stand? Where do you draw your line, folks? What are you going to do when this happens to you? And this is an important thing. I'm going back to this thing that's going on in Nevada. If we don't draw the line somewhere, this is going to just, you know, I mean, as it is, it's common practice. Who knows how much money they have taken from people that didn't have the money to go file suit, that were just out of the money. It's like, why not just throw it out the car window? And It's like he thinks it belongs to him. That cop sounded like he did. I think we got Jules now, don't we?
Do we?
Good morning.
Hi.
Good morning.
How are you?
Good. You sound like you just woke up.
I did. I haven't even had one sip of coffee yet.
Oh no.
No, but I was gonna say in regards to this, I've heard stories where they've been instructed to do that, and that money all goes to the department.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's how they stay in
Yeah.
business.
It's not like he gets to keep it. That money goes to the police department, so they encourage, seizure. But, that's the same thing I was saying about taking my dad cross country. I mean, compared to what it was even a year ago, and I had heard all kinds of stories. Georgia was bad. Some areas of Texas were bad. I heard Arizona.
All the
there
states
were some
are
seizures.
doing it. All of them.
Yeah. I think it's a new thing now.
And I wonder who does it all go to the department? How much does that officer pocket? I see how some of the cops around here live, and they are living well beyond their means.
Yeah. Well, it does make you wonder. I mean, didn't we just read the story the other day about the cops taking the pot?
Yeah.
And then going from stealing it from the one dealer, hooking it up with the other dealer?
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. And this deputy, this officer didn't get reprimanded. He didn't get fired. He did nothing. You know, he's out there today probably doing the same thing.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Use cruise control, people. They pulled him over for
Not
just like
even
3 miles over.
Not even. How many people do you know that got pulled over for a cracked tail light or a cracked windshield? Or what did you say yesterday? 10 and 2? Or Friday?
Yeah. 10 and, I'm reading that right now.
Yeah, repeal, what court is it? The district court or something said that. You know, I mean, if you have acne on your face, that is probable cause now.
Right. So it's not even to the speed limit. That's why I'm really and then Pennsylvania Supreme Court just ruled that they don't need a search warrant to go through your car. Yeah. You just have to look suspicious.
Yes.
And what is suspicious? You know, being human is suspicious now.
This is a dangerous precedent that's being set here. Just absolutely dangerous. And then that it was the 10th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals. Yeah. Was what that was. So,
and then, like I said, in driver's ed, and I asked a couple kids that had gone through driver's ed, yes, they are told when you're driving, you have to be paying attention. You have to sit up straight and you have to have your hands at 10 and 2 so you have better control of your car. So what they're doing is teaching the kids to do exactly what's going to get them pulled over later on.
Exactly what's going to make them worth suspicion.
Yeah.
And also that one officer, when he pulled over because she was sitting up straight, driving 10 to 2 and had acne, as he passed her going 60 miles an hour, he looked in his rearview mirror and seen she was from out of state. That was the kicker, and then he finally flipped to you and went back and pulled her over.
Well, I'm gonna read what that guy said. That officer stated in court. Okay, he said that he spotted her car because, quote, her arms were straight and locked out at a 10 and 2 position on the steering wheel. And everyone is taught in driver's ed in high school. As everyone is taught in driver's ed at high school. He was also suspicious because the road was used primarily by locals in New Mexico, and Westhoven, it's this lady that I was in the middle of reading that, and Westhoven had Arizona plates. She had acne scarring, quote, indicating to him that she might be a methamphetamine user, unquote.
Oh, God.
So he also thought that shopping was better in Tucson than Douglas, so this is also, quote unquote, suspicious, because shopping was better in Tucson than in Douglas. Can you believe that crap?
She couldn't be going to a friend's house or something, or a family?
Oh my God, come on. Shopping? What she may or may not have been shopping for? What the hell?
Right. And second guessing where she should be shopping.
Right. What the Come on.
So in other words, you can make up any scenario in their head and use it as evidence against you.
Yeah.
Wow, she might be a hooker. Wow, he's sitting there daydreaming and wanking off. I pulled her over because she might be a hooker.
Yeah,
You know what I
well,
mean?
hey.
God. Oh, freaking
And then she
real
resisted
people.
arrest.
Right, and so I had to give her an anal probe.
And yeah, and then seized all the cash that she had.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, it was $500, Judge. Where he's
Exactly.
got $10,000 in his pocket, but it might have been funds from her being a hooker.
That's right. Might have been. And I had her suck my dick because she might be a hooker.
And that's her profession, so that was acceptable.
That's right. That was
We had to see how
acceptable
well she
behavior.
did.
That's right.
What?
Had to see
Actually,
how
yeah,
well she did.
no, if you're in Hawaii, it's acceptable behavior.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's
Did you
right.
see
I
that?
saw that.
They fought to be able to have sex with hookers while they're having an investigation.
That's right. I saw that. I was like,
saw
what?
that they're turning that over though. They're getting rid of that loophole.
Oh,
So I'm
my
sure all the cops were
God.
pissed.
That's right. They were, oh my God.
I'm telling you, and people, most people don't see this article for one thing because it doesn't show up in mainstream. And, this could be your kid if your kid has acne. I mean, why don't they see where this is going? I mean, you could be going to the grocery store and you could end up in jail.
That's what the guy said. He totally admitted that on.
Yeah, if you're not shopping in the right store, you could be going to jail.
Unfreaking believable, people.
In a 4-point harness, no less. And then they take your kid to CPS as they're hauling your ass off to jail. That happened to Heidi's friend, remember?
Oh my God.
And that was for a broken taillight. And then she got mouthy. And then she was in a 4-point harness, and then she found herself in mental health, and her kid was taken by CPS.
That's freaking believable.
And that was in Arizona.
Wow.
This was in Nevada that this happened to this guy. He lived in California. He was on his way back. I mean, just think out, man, you're on top of the world. You're driving down the road. You just won $60,000 in a casino, and then your world comes to a dead halt.
And they take the 60,000.
50, and then but yeah, folks, we're in trouble here. And they just keep giving cops more and more and more leeway, giving them tanks now and, training them in military stuff. And this is how this man was trained. So, we're victims here. Every person in the United States that isn't in law enforcement is a victim in my eyes, or soon to be.
Well, you're using that word trained. They're also training us to be slaves.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
well, go ahead, Jules.
No, this was going to be a really long thing, and I don't know if I want to
ahead.
open this can up right now, but maybe a little bit of food for thought. This was really late night discussion last night, but it kind of started to blow my mind, but I was at that point where I really wanted to go to bed. So it didn't go too far, but I think I thought about it while I was sleeping. You were saying that we were all being trained for slaves. Mm-hmm. And the conversation came up. We were talking about the Roman Empire. And I had made some comment. I think the comment was how we are just like the Roman Empire. And I said, yeah, just like the Roman Empire, as in we are in decline now. It is the end of the Roman Empire. And let's hope we don't end up like they did. And my friend said, but the Roman Empire never ended.
That's true.
What do you mean it never ended? Who is it now? And get this. I said, who took over for the Romans? So we kind of did a little bit of research, and it looks like the eastern part of the Roman Empire was taken over by the Byzantine Empire, which is, it almost looked like when I was looking at all the countries that it is modern day, the modern day Middle East. And then your Western Roman Empire was taken over by lots of small Germanic tribes. So the German tribes took that over. But then following that, you also had, and we kind of wandered off there then at that point, but then we started looking at the Prussian, whatever you call it, kingdom, which I don't know if you realize this, Russia was a part of it, but it was ruled by Germany.
Yeah, I
Did you know that?
Mm-hmm.
Russia was under German, rule at one point. And it ended in 1918. during the revolution. I was like, what, 1918, you mean? But anyway, here's the thought. So we're putting all these dots together, and I was like, well, so who is Rome? I said, is it the Queen? And he's like, yeah, I think it's the Queen.
Yes,
it's the Vatican.
Yes, it's the bloodline.
You got Rome is still there.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's still the same families. It's the same families, and it's the same. I just couldn't even believe it. I'm like, no way. Rome never went away.
Right.
And then the Rockefellers and them came over here and incorporated us.
Yeah, and we're still slaves. And I mean, look at everything that we still have from the Romans, our education, our system of government. You know what I mean?
That's right. It's true. They did that.
And they could come in homes without search warrants. Well, guess what, folks? Yeah.
1832. They did that here in this country with the establishment of Skull and Bones. Those are secret Germanic societies.
Well, I mean, the whole thing, the conversation started talking about different books of the Bible and who owns what parts, and the Old Testament, is it really part of, the Jewish text and the Muslim text, and how those all tied together. But in the end, and so then we started looking at the persecution during the Roman Empire. And think about that. I mean, I gotta tell you, when I first started radio, I think I've talked about this before. I mean, my entire point of view of the world has changed since starting all this. And anybody out there who's been doing this for a few years, if you don't see the world totally differently than you did a few years ago, I think there's something wrong with you, right?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, honestly, I'd said many times that if there ever was something for me that was close to like a quote unquote what I would think a religious experience would be like, I would have to say doing what we've been doing and just the transformations in our thought, and like when you first start to see, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
When all of a sudden you start to see it all and none of it, I mean, because there's a while you got to dig and dig and dig and dig and you don't see it. And then one day it's like all of a sudden you have x-ray vision. You just look at anything and you can see all the bullshit without even having to try anymore.
It's true.
And but if you look back at Roman times, during the times of the Bible, what did they do? They were all standing on street corners, preaching, talking about the bad things that were happening and giving their views, you know what I mean? On how to be a better person and how to fight the Romans. I mean, I was like, no shit. I mean, literally, look at the times we are in now.
Look at it. Property owners, they paid property tax to the Romans, and they could come in your house anytime they wanted. They could, take your belongings if they wanted. Now, what have we been talking about? What's happening here?
Right.
Exactly.
The more things change, the more they stay the same.
Stay the same. Yeah. So anyway, I didn't want to derail the conversation.
No,
that was something
perfect.
That's been in my head since. I mean, that was like right before crashing last night, and I woke up this morning, it was still there.
Yeah,
good. But I mean, that means it's definitely worthy of, putting into the ether, man. I'm glad you did, because it's absolutely, it is. It's related. It's totally relevant.
And the Vatican, the church seems to be integrated in all the bad things, I mean, look at the Vatican. It's a country unto itself and very criminal.
So is Israel.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Well, another one. I mean, let's tie all this back to those days. Israel wasn't there, but, the Jewish state, the Jewish people, I mean, it kind of started where was Jerusalem? That was one of the questions yesterday that I never got to. Jerusalem was not in the Israeli state back in the Roman Empire, but Jerusalem was still a sacred city, right? They considered it a holy city.
Yeah, it's always been a holy city. Yeah. Huh.
But here's another question. So I was like, well, where's the Muslim Holy Land? And it's Mecca. And I was like, well, where's Mecca? I mean, I know it's somewhere because aren't they required to make their pilgrimage once a year? And Mecca's in Saudi Arabia. I was like, but wait, isn't Saudi Arabia like a construct? I mean, they don't go, like I would think if it's some religious Mecca that you gotta make a trek to? Shouldn't it be like a 10,000-year-old stone that y'all go to? Something?
Yeah.
Right? Not going to some glitzy freaking made up city. You know, it's like going to see the man behind the curtain.
Right.
Yeah, and why do they change the names of countries and stuff? Is it so we can't go back and see? You know, I mean, the modern day Jerusalem or the modern day Peru, and then they change, and then you learn everything about the new name and forget about the old name, so you don't go back there and investigate how that happened. I mean, that's always not made sense to me, why they changed names of countries.
Like it's Istanbul, it's Constantinople. Well, it was great. I mean, I gotta tell you, reading through Wiki last night and just going through the different empires, I was like, holy shit. You know, it's hard too, especially after a beer or two.
Oh yeah.
But wow, I was actually mind blown because I was never, ever, ever interested in history in school. That was like the one topic that I just found so damn dry and boring. And it's because we didn't have computers back then. You know, our history books didn't even have any pictures. And the ones that they did have were in black and white. So how exciting is that to a kid who just thinks that they're all crusty and stinky old dead people, right?
Exactly.
And that's the way I saw it. I was like, all right, and they all fought, and I don't like fighting. So, you know, why do I want to know about this? But God, every time I crack the surface of something, you know, it just makes so much sense now. You need to understand history.
Yeah, absolutely. Because if you don't, because you will doomed to repeat it. Like it just keeps happening over and over and over here.
Sure does.
The same agenda and the same people have been in control for eons and centuries and a millennium and beyond that. I mean, it's just the plan. Has
one thing you can say about them
place
is
forever.
patient.
The plan has been in place forever and ever.
Mm-hmm.
And they're very patient. It's taken a long time, but they stuck to their guns, you know.
Yeah.
And I don't
Yeah, you know, here's another thing too. How many, you know, there's back, probably 15 years ago, National Geographic, and I think we talked about this one time a long time ago, National Geographic had a genome project going on. I think that's what they called it. It was the Genome Project, but it wasn't, you know, they weren't doing the Genome Project. They were actually trying to track mitochondrial DNA, the DNA from the maternal source, and get swabs, anonymous swabs from people all over the world, which, you know, say what you want. I thought it was kind of cool. It was a long time back before they started databasing things, or at least before we knew they were. But for $100, you could get one of the swab kits and become part of the study. So I actually did that for my mom one year for her birthday.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because she is from, another country, right? So she's not, from here. So I thought that would kind of be neat anyway. So, I got her the kit and you got a number so they don't know who you are. And when you send your test, you know, it's just a little vial with a Q-tip in it. You swab your cheek. So when you send it in, there's not even a return address. So there really is, I mean, I guess they could have tied it to my credit card maybe to know, but it wasn't me. It was her, right? I could have given it to anybody. But, by being part of the study, you actually would get then, you know, you were one of the people who got the results when it came out because they weren't publishing it right away. And they had come back, and I don't even remember how many samples they had managed to get, but they got a lot. I mean, there was a huge scientific sampling, and they had tracked it back to humans beginning in Eastern Africa. Now, when we grew up, they told us, right, that, that's the breadbasket of life happened in Africa. And you know, here's another thing too. You never realized when you were a kid that Egypt was like right there on the cusp. Did you? Like the Nile Valley?
Right.
Right between Africa and the Middle East there. Mm-hmm. But, National Geographic said they pinpointed, and I don't remember the name of the town, but it was right below a big gold mine somewhere in Eastern Africa, and there was a map. So, you know, what was our now, I've seen a couple different theories, and here I was looking this up last night because this was, again, part of this conversation. Then, where did all the tribes come from, right? So we were trying to break it down that there are multiple distinct lines of humans, if you really look at like characteristics, bodily characteristics, there really seem to be a few distinct lines of humans that develop differently, right?
Right.
You have, now this is the way I always understood it. You had and I mean, this is kind of the type of stuff I went to school for. So I mean, I've been out of school for 25 plus years out of college. So I'm sure things have changed, but it always made sense to me. Like in the regions of like, England, Ireland, you know, your European nations, you really had the Druids, right? The Druids were kind of where they tagged that Indo-European group of people. Then you kind of go over to the Eastern Europe, and you had the Vikings.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right? You had the Vikings, the Nordic people.
Yes.
You also, now, were Asians a spin-off of the Nordic people, or were Asians? Because, I mean, really, if you look at the Nordic people, they have much finer features, you know, very light skin.
Smaller.
Mm-hmm.
They're very small. Well, not all of them, though. Some of the Nordic people are big.
Well,
Yeah,
no, Nordic,
yeah.
the Vikings were big people,
Yeah.
Right.
if I
right.
recall right.
Yeah, they were big people. So then maybe you have like the Asian Pacific Islander. I mean, any of the Polynesian people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Polynesian, you know, you go down through Indonesia and New Zealand and Australia, and any of the indigenous people are all from Polynesian descent.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
The original inhabitants.
The
Yes. Aboriginals.
yeah.
Aboriginals, yeah. Well, they call them Polynesian,
Mm-hmm.
but it's because that covers the whole thing, and that also includes Asia.
Yes.
And then the last one would be of African descent. So I'm reading this thing last night, and there's 3 distinct theories, and one is this one that National Geographic did with this DNA test that really, when scientists looked at all this, they're like, holy crap, it looks like all of these strains of humans all came out of the same place, and then we all went off our different ways, right?
Yeah, and out of Africa.
Mm-hmm. And then, there was, you know, this theory that we were talking about, and you know, what we came to the conclusion of last night is that it almost seems like all of these could be correct. Like, if they all started in Africa, and then the tribes spread out and went their own way, and as evolution happened, and they bred with the indigenous people, I see someone in chat was saying, Marion Barry was saying the Vikings are leftover Neanderthals, actually was talking about when these tribes, these groups left Africa, they went to different regions and actually bred with some of the pre-humans that were still
And
around.
It goes geographically, like if you're in a very hot, intense land, your skin's going to be darker. And if you're in a colder region of the world, you know, and that carries on out. So, you know, it's true. You know, I see it. People, you can tell pretty much where they're from just by looking at them. And if you look at the weather from where they came, and if it's hot or if it's cold, and their skin tones will match that too.
Yeah,
So,
evolution.
yeah.
And even, you know, even different bodily characteristics, though. I mean, if you are in an environment where, you know, the sunlight is different, your eyes, I mean, look at Eskimos. Eskimos
Yep.
are up in the northern portion, and
Right.
their eyes are designed to protect their eyes from
Yep.
the ultraviolet light. So, yeah, I had this discussion at dinner a couple of weeks ago with my daughter. She was asking me, cause she has some friends from, you know, different regions of the country, you know, kids move to town or whatever.
Right. They
And
look
so we
different.
were just talking about, you know, why each of us looks different, and she's good. She gets it. I mean, she understands evolution, and I truly think but here's the thing. So I guess, and I'm not going to say his name, but I'll say AJ. I'll give initials. Has had
Okay.
this thing, and I don't really listen to him, but he's had this thing about how, you know, and say what you will, but people talking about races. The white race is dying. There's only 10% of us left. And I've always had this thing. I'm like, wait a second. When you call it a race, so there's the white race, and then what?
Yeah.
Aliens, I mean, we're the human race, okay?
We all bleed red.
Right.
Anywhere they ask for your race, when I fill in out a form, I write it in. I put human race. And I
good. Because that really pisses me off. I mean, look at it from the animal kingdom. There was a suggestion here. Well, what about the difference between like a puma and a house cat? And I was like, but they're still cats.
And they're still came
felines.
From cats. Yeah.
Right, right.
The races, what are you doing? You got African blood in you way down the lines, because that's where we all came from, and then that shuts them up. But,
well, and so I personally think that the more, and I'm not doing anything politically correct here, I think it's retarded to be saying that we're different races, because we're not. We're all humans. It doesn't matter. We're humans. We're not aliens. We're humans.
Right.
So, though, and that was kind of what made us start looking at, what the current theory is, there may be different lines. I mean, they have proven that there were different strains of Neanderthal, right? There were 3 or 4 different types when they looked at the bone structures, and they may have bred with different types that then gave us different attributes. But here's the thing. So we talked about this on the show once, that there was a story not too long ago saying that the pure Aryan white skin, probably originating from the Nordic and the European regions, without mixing any, and I don't know in the way past, but that we're all going to end up being beige at some point.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the thing, right? I don't mind being beige. It means that I don't get a sunburn. And I am kind of beige. My dad's family's Polish, but they were very dark skinned. My dad has olive skin. He goes in the sun one day in the summer, and my dad looks black. But it's just because that's the way his skin is. He gets very dark very easily.
Right.
But he's not. He's Polish.
I tan real easy too. And my argument with like the really, really strict Christians that, you can't even hardly talk to them and we're all came from Adam and Eve. My question's always been, if incest is a mortal sin, how in the hell did we all get here from 2 people?
Well, I'll tell you what, I spent a lot of time in college, doing religious texts and creation myths and stuff. And one of the things that I didn't discover until I got much older, because I was only in my 20s then, but thank God I knew all the stuff about the actual text, is when I started reading Zecharia Sitchin. Now, Madison has completely slaughtered any theories I ever had about Zecharia Sitchin's work, but that still does not get rid of the fact that the Sumerians had the biblical flood story and the story of Adam and Eve long before the Bible, and in much more extended formats, okay? And one of the things that Sitchin says, and I really, really, really wish that I could read cuneiform or whatever the hell they wrote the tablets in, there were those drawings that went along with it, with the double helix that looked like the DNA with the 2 people, one on either side. He insisted that they absolutely knew about genetic engineering. And think about it. They had talked about Eve coming from Adam's rib. And all I kept thinking was, damn, if you were going to clone somebody, you know what I mean? Or you were going to, create another being out of one, if you had one, wouldn't that be an easy way, especially if you had the technology?
Right.
Wow.
So I don't know, think about it. Just think about it. If you read, honestly, I don't know, you guys, I would say don't follow what someone says. If you haven't read any of Zecharia Sitchin stuff, I highly recommend it, because he also talks about the Sumerians having 30,000, I don't remember if it was 30,000 or 300,000 years. It was this massive amount of history from this other civilization that they said that we actually came from, and that's where the Anunnaki come in.
Right.
And this whole Planet X, Nibiru. They actually have star maps, and they talk about the planets coming from the outside of the solar system in, you guys. And they name the sizes, the colors. They even talk about like Neptune and Uranus with their odd orbits and stuff. I'm telling you, anyone who says that shit's fake, I have to kind of go, well, have you read all this? Because it really floored me. I got my mom to read it all. My mom's been into, trying to understand this stuff since I was little. That was kind of what got me into it. My mother was raised very strict Catholic, realized that when she was in her early 20s that she had been horribly brainwashed, and then spent the next 40 years making sure that I didn't believe things because someone told me, number one.
Nice.
And number two, trying to find the answers for herself. So, when I had her read Sitchin's work, she's like, holy shit, it all makes sense now. So if you haven't read it and you really want to like blow your mind, at least even just for a few minutes of a fantasy, even if it isn't true, it's definitely worth it.
Yeah, we're now discovering proof that they had electricity 3,000 years ago, and we think we're just so, there's so much back there to go back and go back further. You're going to get your mind blown. I just love it.
Yeah, Dan is asking which book. He had a whole bunch. I think there were 12 or 13 of the series.
Wow.
Well, they went through all different parts of, like there was another book called Genesis Revisited that actually looks at Genesis and then looks at the translations and looks at the tablets and shows you different things. But let me do a quick search. They have them all on Amazon. They're in paperback. And I know I found a bunch in my local used bookstore for like $2 a piece. So
there you go.
I'll do a quick search and I'll see if I can find one that I know is a good overview.
They've been probably
I find the best old books in secondhand stores. They just have piles and piles of them. But if you take the time and go through them, you can get some real treasures in there of different things, like a whole library. I love it. I go and stay for hours reading prefaces and stuff. But
yeah, my dude actually has been in business. My husband grew up here, so he's been here 40 years. And this guy was in business when my husband was a little boy. So this store, needless to say, I think the guy probably has taken his bad habits of being a, what do they call it?
A hoarder.
Yes, a hoarder. And has put it to good use. And the thing is, they're in precarious stacks all over it. I mean, it's a huge place. But he's got a method because all you got to do is ask him, and he knows exactly
where it is.
Yes,
right where it is.
Like, all the kids' books are in that back corner.
Yep.
And my daughter will be like, "Oh, do you have any books on blah 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 blah?" "Oh, yes, hold on." And he runs and boop, there he goes.
There used to be a ton of those kind of stores in Ann Arbor. There's only just one or two now that are even remotely like that. There used to be a few of them where you just go through a maze of books just all over the place. And it's kind of sad that they're gone now,
Yeah, to me, it's sacrilegious to throw a book away. You give it away or but you pass it on. I don't care what it is. You never throw books away.
That's right.
Yeah, or burn them.
Yeah,
right.
the same. Yeah, destroy them or censorship or like that book, my remedies book that I have from the 1800s. It helps all of us around here so much and teaches things that they had to do, like talk about something happening and you got to be on your own. Tells you how to make soap, how to make brandy, how to make medicine, and I would never know this if I hadn't gone to that old bookstore and kind of rummaged through and got back to this book. So, yeah.
Well, isn't that a lesson, though? Like, all that old lost knowledge, how important that is.
Yes.
That, and here's the other thing that I discovered. More and more we're seeing is everything's becoming electronicized, that it really is like 1984 where, the Ministry of Truth decides that it's no longer true anymore. And so all references are erased or changed or disappear, electronically. And with a textbook, I think that's why they don't like them, because with a textbook, it's forever stamped in there and you could prove that they manipulate history.
That's right.
Well, I discovered something, Well, just yesterday it blew my mind. Hey, do you guys know about sticky weed? It's a plant. It floats in, doesn't have any roots, and attaches itself to other plants. Like mine's growing. It's attaching itself to the peas, and it's going up, and then attaching itself to my fruit trees. I came in and I was looking for it, and you know what? It's a herb that will dogs. It'll lower their blood pressure without slowing down their heart. It's good for. It's a detox. It's for your lymph nodes. It's good to clean those out and everything. You make it into a tea. You can do all these things, and it's only alive for like a month. And I have a whole field of this stuff. So I'm going out and man, I'm collecting it all. And you can make tea with it. It's good to put on a injury, just to put it right on it. This stuff is totally amazing. And I thought it was just a weed, but I mean, it has so many medicinal properties that blew me out of the water.
Maybe that's why my dog is obsessed with running around eating grass.
Well, it only grows it grows in America, but it's mostly on the West Coast and stuff. But I can package some up and send you some, But yeah, it's they don't know how it does it, but it lowers dogs' what I just say?
Blood
pressure.
And does not slow down their heart. And it's good for spider bites, or anything like that. And
oh my God.
It does all kinds of things.
I got up to let my dog out last night, and when I was going back to sleep, I looked up and there was a spider hanging above my head.
Oh, in your room?
Yes, right above my pillow. I'm like, yikes.
Yeah, tis the time of year for dangling spiders.
Oh, shit, I'm so glad I woke up.
Yeah, and good thing your mouth wasn't open when you were sleeping.
Oh my God, I know.
It's a lot.
Oh, my sister just said somebody here in Michigan just got bit by a brown recluse.
Shit.
In Michigan.
They're out, man.
In Michigan, you guys have them up there?
Yeah.
I mean, I know down in our southern tier of New York, it's like very borderline because they're in the Appalachian region, right? And that's the foothills down there. But I don't think we have brown recluse up here. But I mean, your body parts can literally rot off if you get bitten by one.
Yeah, and there's no stopping it but to cut yourself off or whatever.
Yeah.
In this day and age, those things are almost everywhere because of travel.
Well,
they get in their suitcase or whatever, and then they come out here, and then they start, because we've seen them out here, and they're not from here originally. So,
I used to work at the Children's Hospital for about 6 years, and I remember I used to go around on my floor and take our blood pressures, and there was a kid that came in, and I took his blood pressure, and he just had 2 little round spots on his arm. By the end of the freaking week, you could see his freaking bone.
Yeah.
Yeah, it causes necrosis.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And there's nothing you can do. No, you gotta cut it out.
Yeah.
Yep, there's nothing else you can do. And it's fast too. It's fast acting, and it's just so, oh my God, the necrosis is horrible.
Yeah, before we run out of time here, I just want to mention, there were like 8 or 9 Sitchin books. I'm just gonna drop these in the chat. I remember there was a whole thing called, I guess they call it the Earth Chronicles. And that was all the different books. So there was the 12 Planets, Stairway to Heaven. And so I just put them in the chat. There's all but just search his name, Sitchin, on Amazon, and you can get a breakdown as to what each of the books is about.
Oh, yeah, they even allow you to read part of the book usually.
Yeah, sometimes they do. And where you want to pay attention is Anil and Enki. Those are the 2 brothers that supposedly came to Earth. Their planet was having issues. They had to mine gold to help fix their atmosphere before they got too close to the sun, blah, blah, blah. And so they created this slave race on Earth to mine gold because we had it. And I got to tell you, when you look at like the timeline to this, I just started to realize that, and by the way, they said that it was in Eastern Africa near the gold mines. And when you start looking at like, the ancient Egyptians that came, first of all, you had the Sumerians that came, then you had the ancient Egyptians, and look at that. The ancient Egyptians worshipped their rulers as gods.
Right.
That came from the sky somewhere. The Egyptians were also very savvy when it came to astronomy.
Yeah, amazing.
Star locations and stuff. And the ancient Egyptians worshipped gold.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, like they say, the pyramids, the way they were built couldn't have been done then, even now. And so where did they get that knowledge? How about the drawings of the men in spacesuits in caves? You know
what? There are also some interesting drawings in a few of the pyramids of, have you seen those of like,
yes.
It looked like the, Enterprise.
Yes.
And they had the helicopter.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
so how
some
did people come up with something they never seen? I say we were planted here as an experiment that went wrong.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that went wrong.
And they said,
horribly wrong.
Oh, we're coming down to the end, guys.
Yeah, we got about a minute and a half.
Oh, that's lots of time.
Yeah, sorry I wasn't up first thing. I was pretty busy.
Thank you for hanging out with us. It's awesome when you're
I woke up with my cell phone in my hand. The alarm had been turned off, but it was still in my hand dangling off the edge of the bed. It was after 10. I'm like, oh, shit.
Did I do that?
Yeah.
That's funny. Oh my God.
Hey, by the way, Marion Barry, All Power to the Positive last night, second half of the show, he sampled a new conversation by Reverend Pinckney.
Oh.
Out of Michigan. We need to see how that's going, because it sounds like Benton Harbor is getting the short end of the stick now.
You knew they would. You knew they would, but
yeah,
that's that. I really like Pinky. Wow, what guts.
Yeah, it did take guts.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So, hey. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, Zora, you're hitting the road starting tomorrow after the show.
Yes. I'll be here in the morning.
Lady Pitbull, you're working Wednesday and Friday?
Gotta work now, yep.
All right. So, guys, I am alone Wednesday and Friday this week, so if anybody wants to hang, just drop me a note and let me know. Otherwise, it's going to be 2 hours of me ranting at you. Which, hey, at least one day is good, but I don't know about two. By Friday, you're going to be like, shut up, please. All right, guys, here comes the music, so take us out.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. I'm not even ready for it. Ready for it.
We'll catch you guys all tomorrow. Everybody have a great Monday.
Enjoy your day.
Take care, guys.
Get some sunshine. It's 100 degrees in Texas today.
Oh my God.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Bye.